Preparing your house for spring in Texas, not an easy task. I know because it's the weekend as I'm doing this. I literally spent this weekend doing a lot of that. So look, spring in Texas, it's wild. I mean, the weather's beautiful and the blue bonnets are coming out and things of that nature are happening. But the reality is, as the weather shifts, uh, April showers bring May flowers, right? But the storms that come with those showers and the temperature swings we can have, it can be 90 one day and then 50 the next. It can be really problematic on a house, and you got to make sure that you properly protect your investment, right, and stay ahead of those challenges. So certainly, it's the ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure. I'd rather spend a little time today and do what I'm supposed to do, and it's kind of fun to do some Texas spring cleaning for sure. So before the storm season happens, right? Storm can be those high winds, the heavy rains, the hail. Good grief! Every once in a while, if you remember, I think it was 2018, there were tornadoes for crying out loud. So we do want to make sure we're prepared, right? And also just make sure your appliances are getting their annual regular checkups, whether that's your the stress on the HVAC, right? The heating and air conditioning when you go from what was the heater to now the AC needs to be sure we're taken care of. I know the pests, right? The mosquitoes and the flies and all that stuff. My Caroline, my wife, tells me that I got a micro hobby of going after those insects, and I do. I got fly paper and mosquito traps and all this stuff around that. It is kind of fun. So let's go through this, right? So preparing your house for spring in Texas, right? So we got to have the Texas Spring Home Care Checklist, right? This is something we kind of thought of and made up, right? But first of all, I do look at the outside of the house first, right? Because the big ones, first and foremost, your roof, right? How is it? Is it missing shingles? Did it have any hail damage from last year that we haven't addressed? Just generic wear and tear. Make sure the gutters are clean for drainage, right? So when it does rain, make sure the outdoor lighting looks nice. Caroline will get on me. That's not just spring, that's all the time. But in terms of making sure the trees, right, making sure they're not rubbing against the house, that's going to be a really big problem. So inside the house, you got to do the obvious stuff, which is, really kind of just the safety stuff, right? Look at your smoke detectors, your carbon monoxide stuff. Replace, you should do regularly anyway, your HVAC filters, but I do want to make sure that's done on a regular basis. Check your appliances. I don't check the dryer very often. Did you know your dishwasher actually has a filter? It's disgusting. I do have a reminder on my app or on my phone that just pops up on the reminders app on my iPhone. And I have my kids help me too. So get your family involved where you're not just having to do it all by yourself. But make a day of it, or at least maybe a couple weekends if you want to space it out. But preparing your home for spring in Texas, we do have, some, like I said, it's some of it's just the decluttering. It's not even about preparing the house for any type of storms. Some of it's just feeling better and going through and just getting rid of some of the old stuff you need. Caroline literally just took like 4 bags of clothes that the girls have outgrown, or the winter clothes that we know they're about to outgrow. So declutter, right? Go through the closets, just get all that done. The ceiling fans, switch them if you haven't already for the rotation. Make sure they're clean. I did that outside just last weekend before a margarita party we had. Make sure the light fixtures, clean, the cobwebs, the dust, all that stuff, the shelves inside and outside in the garage. Caroline just had the outside. I used to do the power washing, and truthfully, she just hired it out, and it was awesome. So the upholstery outside's clean, right? The other part, I don't do this because I just don't know enough to know if I'm doing it right. But refrigerator coils, right? Just making sure that somebody's we have an ice maker. Make sure that gets serviced regularly. I think it's once a year. We typically do it right about now because we just got it done. Go through, and my daughter loves doing this with my parents because they have like canned goods from the 90s still in there. But organize your pantry, get rid of expired foods, things like that. So just do that big full sweep. And like I said, start with the outside, right? So when you're doing your cleaning, go out and look at the gutters, the roof, the sidings, and the faucets. Take off those things. So I would start with the outside, do everything we kind of just mentioned, then move to the inside and do the things that matter, right? Like the deep clean we just talked about, and the filters and all that stuff. And then you can go through and do all the neat stuff, right? The third part can be the cosmetics, right? Declutter the closets, do a little touch up paint, make sure the fire extinguishers, all that's technically in the safety, but just make sure everything's just working. And then lastly, if you really want to go the extra mile, I know Caroline does this, and fortunately, I don't have to do the backbreaking work, but it's not cheap. It's the making sure your garden, get the fresh seasonal flowers in there, the fresh mulch, because that does protect your foundation. Like we talked about this, make sure that all these sprinklers are working. Make sure that the water's getting where it needs to for not just the plants, but your house, and just making sure you have all that done. So again, I'd start with the outside. When preparing your house for spring in Texas, again, start with the outside, do the inside, start decluttering, and then do the extra stuff like the out, the make the house look pretty and all that stuff. So if you do need or want some help, I'm sure we got a checklist. I know we do because I've seen it. Feel free to reach out to us. Mortgagemark.com is the best way to find us. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll get you that spring cleaning checklist because I have it, because I made it, because I use it. So if you do need something, please reach out to us. And as always, if you're in the market for a mortgage or know somebody who is, just remember the Mortgage Mark team is here to help. And when you think mortgage, think Mark.